Welcome to First Issues. As we continue grappling with soaring unemployment rates, there is a pressing need to look to unlikely creators of opportunities and diversification of the economy for the purpose of job creation. The unlikeliest candidate to consider could be wine.
Well, these are the sentiments of our guest, wine connoisseur, or as self-proclaimed wine ambassador at large, Boikanyo Kgosidintsi. This is a man who has dedicated a larger part of his adult life to the wholeness of wine beyond just savoring its taste.
His adoration for the no juice tickled his entrepreneurial spirit to go into wine marketing with his company, Wine by Design. We find out from Boikanyo how he intends to achieve that, but first, how his love affair with wine started. Boikanyo, thank you so much for coming on First Issues. We're talking to you today about wine having an impact on overall economic growth and actually stimulating the creation of jobs, right? But let us start here first. You are a self-proclaimed wine ambassador at large. What does that mean and how did you end up there?
So my relationship with wine actually goes back quite far. I'm passionate about wine. I've been drinking wine for a while. But it wasn't until 2022 that I met somebody who said to me, "You're so passionate about wine. Have you ever considered studying wine?" And I took a step back and said, "What do you mean study wine?" He said, "Well, there's a formal education in wine all the way up to PhD level." I said, "No way." Anyway, since then, I enrolled with the Cape Wine Academy. I've studied up to certificate level. And after that, I decided, you know what? Here's an opportunity to do something really different in the Botswana market. We've always had wine. We've always had alcoholic products in the market. But what is different is with a formal education in wine, you can actually set out a career path.
Let us understand something there. You say that wine can actually carve out a career path for somebody, or somebody can carve out that career path in wine. How do you see that happening, most importantly now, because we are faced with the issue of skyrocketing unemployment rates?
The starting point is just awareness. Once people know that there are careers in the wine industry, the next step is to identify credible academic institutions, right, where one can pursue a course in wine. There are a number of industry bodies. I think, firstly, the disadvantage that we have in Botswana is that we're a non-wine producing country. So we don't have other parts of the wine, other parts of the wine value chain that make it viable to set up schools, to train people in the wine industry, etc., etc. But those who really are keen on careers in the wine industry, we're on the doorstep of the world's 8th largest exporter of wine, South Africa. You can literally get on a plane or drive across the border, and there's a wine academy in Johannesburg waiting to take you in and take you through a formal education process. And one of the things that I really, really like about the knowledge economy is it encourages mobility. So with that qualification, you don't have to work in a particular country. Wherever that product is exported to, there's a job waiting for you there. Because what you're literally selling is experiences based on your knowledge of the product.
That being the case, or that can be the case, that you don't have to work in any specific country, right? But at the same time, we want skills here in the country. How do you see that translating in our own market?
I think that we can integrate knowledge into the tourism industry. And I think we all understand this and we all agree on this point, because even government in its national tourism strategy and roadmap have identified the need for skills in certain areas, and this includes culinary skills, skills in wine, because essentially what we want to do is we want to be able to compete with other countries, but by selling experience. So yes, we've got animals, we've got fauna, etc., right? Which is all great. But who doesn't have those in the neighboring countries? We all do. So if we're going to differentiate ourselves as a tourism destination, the best way to do it is through skills. And those skills are knowledge-based skills.
You have a business undertaking, Wine by Design, right? Perhaps you could speak briefly about what you wanted to achieve with that, but also looking at the mindset of Botswana when it comes to wine. Do you think that the wider populace in the country is ready for what wine culture is all about?
So when I set up my business, it was with a view to bridging the knowledge gap around wine, because growing up as a child, there was always alcohol available in abundance. But as I grew older, that's when I got to understand that there's a whole industry behind this. And it's not just about drinking and getting drunk. So in the first instance, it's about bridging the knowledge gap. In the second instance, it goes back to job creation in the tourism sector. We need to create those experiences. I mean, I'll give you an example. So tourists come to Botswana, they spend 3 days in the Delta, and then they move on and spend 5 days in the Cape Winelands, enjoying the splendor of the Cape Winelands. If we were able to bring the Cape Winelands experience to Botswana, we could keep those tourists in the country for 10 days. So we need to think exponentially, and our thinking also needs to be integrated, right? So we can't afford to operate in silos. We can't say that is tourism, that is something else. It's all about economic activity and the ability to be able to leverage skills to create jobs.